The battle in the American does not end exactly like we predicted, but it was one hell of a game. UCF defeats Tulane. Both teams move to 8-2 with the final score of 38-31. And this game was all about Plumlee, who rushed more than he passed in this one. What an incredible outing by UCF, and Tulane really played as well. But what a game here. This could be a rematch we see in a few weeks, Steve, but what a game by UCF.
Yeah, I mean, the first quarter alone, scoring on the first three drives that they had, it became apparent early on. I know that the scores seemed much closer at the end, but Tulane never really got into this game after Plumlee and company established, like, hey, look, we are the team to beat in the American. And Plumlee, showed no rust whatsoever, no hesitation. He was out the week before against Memphis. There was even talk in the local papers in Orlando that perhaps Plumlee would not start this game. I mean, I never quite bought into that, but man, 176 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. Right, as you said, he ran for more than he threw, 132 yards, but he still got a touchdown in the air. But UCF successfully ran the ball. They didn't have to worry about opening it up. And then I think once they got that early taste, that blood was in the water, I don't think they wanted to change from their game plan. So tip of the hat to UCF. I mean, I really thought Tulane was the team that was going to come out of this conference. And then they still could, as you said. I mean, they could match up, in the championship game. UCF's defense forced 3 fumbles and they had 3 sacks, and that kid, Jason Johnson, I believe his last name was, he was responsible for a sack, for a forced fumble. He had 7 tackles, 6 of them were unassisted. Man, he just did a job. Actually, the whole UCF defense did a great job. And if you look at UCF, they play a reeling USF. I mean, an in-state rivalry, which ordinarily think maybe USF would get up for. I'm not sure anything's going to get US up up this year. It's just one of those years there. Then they play Navy. Now, I mean, Navy will present certain challenges as it happened in the Notre Dame game, but UCF is a better football team than Navy. So they might keep it close. It might not be a big offensive output, but I mean, I think that's going to give UCF a nice path to 2 more wins to close it out. Tulane has a quick turnaround. They face SMU on Thursday. So that makes me a little nervous coming off a tough defeat like this, but then they can beat Cincinnati the Friday after Thanksgiving. So they should have, a pretty decent chance at being able to make it to the conference championship game. This was everything about this game, really. We shouldn't even mention Tulane. We should just say UCF, because honestly, they dominated in every aspect of this football game.
Yeah, the turnover margin was huge in this one, and that's why it was only a 7-point victory. But if that turnover margin didn't happen for Tulane, because no turnovers occurred for UCF, which we were really concerned about, that right. UCF does turn the ball over. They didn't do it a single time in this game. That's what won them that football game. And UCF opens up against Navy as a 16.5-point favorite. That's a pretty sketchy spread, in my opinion, after seeing what Navy did with Notre Dame just a week ago. And Tulane opens up on Thursday, just a 3-point favorite against SMU. SMU's played tough, and they've played a lot of those midweek games so far. We'll see how they do in that game, and obviously probably the better game of the year left remaining in the American will be Tulane versus Cincinnati till we see the American championship game, Steve.
Yeah, SMU's won 3 in a row, so they've been a little inconsistent, but certainly the last couple of weeks, I mean, they played some really solid football. So as somebody that's been pushing Tulane even before they were ranked, saying this team's not getting enough respect, I still think they're a very good football team. But this could be a trap game for them, having that short turnaround. Maybe in some ways it might benefit them because they don't have much time to fool around and dwell on the loss. They can just say, okay, look, we need to get to work right now. But the Americans turning out to be completely different from what everybody thought at the beginning of the year.
Oh, for sure. No doubt about it. I mean, we don't hear Houston's name anymore. Cincinnati was a college football playoff team last year. We obviously know all the hits they took to the NFL draft. I mean, props to them for getting them sent to the draft, but definitely taking a hit. We knew it was going to be some sort of rebuilding year, but they still found themselves in the rankings somehow, some way. But it is what it is on that one. We will have you covered for the SMU Tulane game on Thursday. We'll have a preview out in the beginning of the week. That game is on Thursday night, 7:30 Eastern time on ESPN.